All right, everybody, what's going on? This is the Fantasy Blueprint. We're without our host today, Britton Flowers, but today you got me and my brother C Swag, Cole Wagner. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My computer's froze right now, but other than that, all right, we just battled back. We're good. We're back live.
Back live. Well, we're gonna do a quick little Super Bowl preview for everybody that's got showdown lineups. Last week of the NFL season is kind of bittersweet, but Eagles and Chiefs. If you follow our channel, I predicted the Super Bowl matchup before the playoffs started. We did our predictions. Cole, what was your prediction?
I had the Ravens and the Eagles, I believe, so I
Okay.
was right on one. But
Yeah, Ravens not a bad pick. They got taken out by the MVP, Josh Allen. Soft plug there for the MVP, but not a bad pick. You got one out of two. Okay, they can't all be winners. I can't remember what Britain said. Oh, actually, I do remember Britain said. Britain said Rams and somebody else, and then it was that was not a good pick. Sorry, Britain, but so let's start out here. We're gonna go. We're gonna start it. So usually we do our core four when we got our classic slate. Lineups about 10 to 11 games. But since we only got a showdown here with two players worth of two teams worth of players, we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to call these the power picks. We got two power picks for the showdown lineups. These are guys you're going to look at starting as your captain. You're finding decent value for point production in the showdown lineups. So Cole, who are your power picks today? Well, what you got?
my two guys I'm looking at is Devontae Smith and Dallas Goddard. Devontae Smith typically has really good games and big games going back to when he was at Alabama. If you remember that national championship he had, I believe he had 200 yards and two touchdowns at half, something like that.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling big game Devontae Smith may come out, especially with the Chiefs guarding AJ Brown, and make sure he doesn't come undone and come unglued on these guys. And then they're going to try and stop Saquon and Jalen Hurts, and somebody's bound to get open. So I think this is a Devontae Smith surprise game. And my second guy is Dallas Goddard. The Chiefs have led up the second most receptions and receiving yards, I believe, to tight ends. And Dallas Goddard is a pretty good receiving tight end. So
Yep.
those are the two guys that I'm going with. Those are my, what'd you call them? The power two, would you say?
Two power picks. Your power
Yeah, power
picks.
picks. Yep, power picks.
uh, you mentioned Saquon. Have been pretty high on Saquon going into this game. I know his rushing prop somewhere around 140 yards over under. The Bills really dominated the Chiefs on the ground, James Cook and Ray Davis. But I don't know, something about Saquon. He's the most expensive player on the slate, and I don't know. Something about Saquon's kind of turning me off. What are your thoughts on Saquon at his price?
It's always the price. It's that expensive pair of pants at the store that you see there like 100. It's the Lululemon pants, that you see at the store. They're about 115, $120. And you're like, man, am
Great
I going to wear
pants.
these? Am I going to wear these things? Am I going to wear these things enough to get 115, $120 out of them? I mean, they're dependable. They won't break down on you. At least they haven't this year. And you just got to kind of weigh the cost with the benefit. And
But there's
I'm
always
not
a
a
chance you snag those pants, those 100 or
yeah.
200. You don't want to do that.
And
Yeah,
I'm not a guy that puts himself out there on pants and clothes. So I'm not a guy that puts myself out there typically with Saquon Barkley. So
that's funny. Yeah, I feel like Saquon's going to have a lot of exposure in lineups. Like he's had a really good playoffs, and he's like 140 yards away or something from breaking the postseason rushing record that Eric Dickerson said. I think was it Eric Dickerson or somebody else. Maybe not Eric
um,
Dickerson, but
I believe that's right.
I can't remember who it is. But I don't see him getting 140 yards. And with the tush push action, that's the most for sure play in all of sports. He's not going to get many 1 yard touchdowns, and he's been breaking off some big runs. And I don't necessarily see them breaking off a bunch of in Kansas City. So I'm pulling away from Saquon. My two power picks. For one, I'm going Jalen Hurts. I mean, just this model of consistency when it comes to rushing touchdowns. I mean, he's going to get at least one in every single game. And I know last game they were saying his knee was kind of banged up and he was going to wear a brace. No brace. There was no brace on the knee. He was running just fine. So I think his rushing ability in this game is going to be huge to extend some of those plays. He's going to lay it all on the line. This is the Super Bowl. You don't take any. If that hole's there, you're scrambling and you're not sliding. You're going to get those extra yards. So I really like Jalen Hurts this weekend, and also I'm going Noah Gray. So this is This is a risky one. He's at 2,800. He's really, really cheap. But he's had a catch in every game in the postseason, multiple catches, except for the last game they just played, which is weird because he was on the field a lot and Travis Kelce didn't get many catches. So it was a weird game for him against the Bills, and they scored some points. So I expect Noah Gray to bounce back and kind of be that unsung hero for Kansas City going into the game. And I've got Britton's lineup here, and I can go ahead and tell you what his picks were. He has Hollywood Brown in his lineup. So I'm assuming he's thinking maybe some coverage shaded towards Xavier Worthy. Hollywood gets open. But he said his pick is Samaje Perine at 1,200. That's
Mm.
what he said. He said, the Chiefs trying to make some of those unsung heroes like they did with Jerick McKinnon and Mecole Hardman, Sky Moore, some of those guys you don't really expect to be the design to play for, end up scoring a touchdown or two. So Perine's at 1,200. I mean, that's real cheap. You get two or three catches, and if you somehow get a touchdown out of Perine randomly, that can carry you pretty high. So uh, what's your strategy like for your showdown lineups? You going real high on the captain, or you going kind of salary saver on the captain, so you can load in some of the higher price guys? What's your strategy for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I usually go. I'm greedy, so if you go the mid level, low level players and hope they pop off, if you have that player as your captain and separate yourself from the group, you usually set yourself up to win more money. Now, the
Yeah,
safe play is to pick somebody like Saquon Barkley as your captain, but the problem is if you do that, you're going to have to end up playing like Samaje Perine and Noah Gray and those two
yep,
guys, and then you're just depending on bench warmers to possibly save you,
right.
especially if Saquon doesn't have a good game. But yeah, I usually go mid tier, lower level players, and then fill in the rest. Um, I mean, I've seen people they fill in the rest with like kickers and things like that, which wouldn't be a terrible play, but is also a huge risk as well because they're going to get you maybe 9 to 12 points on a
Yeah,
good game. So it just depends. But yeah,
yeah.
usually
My oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say usually mid tier, lower level guys.
Yeah,
My go-to.
you're a value guy. You're a salary saver. What you
Oh
say?
yeah,
You're a salary
on
saver.
showdowns, but I'm terrible at showdowns.
Yeah.
So maybe
So
go high level.
yeah, I've noticed in the NBA showdowns, if you don't pick Jokic or Giannis, you're not winning. If you don't pick them as your captain, especially when Jokic is dropping like 120 points in a fantasy matchup. But football is a little different. There's a little bit more, I guess. What's the word here? Like comparability between players when it comes to point production. You're not
Variability. Is
less
that the right word?
variation.
Yeah.
You're not getting that huge separation of like 70-point fantasy scores versus like 20. So I am this. I agree with you going salary saver plays, but just in this game in the Super Bowl, typically your Super Bowl MVP is going to be a quarterback. So I'm building my lineup around Jalen Hurts as my captain, just with his rushing ability and those chances for those tush pushes. It just makes too much sense for me to not have him as my captain and surround him with some of those mid tier guys, like you said. So, well, let's since we talked about that, let's go ahead and give our lineups and let's get out of here so we can post this to the tube. So, give me your give me your lineup. What you got for your showdown lineup?
All right. I've got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goddard, Kareem Hunt, and Jalen Hurts.
All right.
And then there's one last guy I'm trying to choose between. I have no idea who it's going to be. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I like that. I like Hollywood Brown. Seems like a good pick. Um, so Britain, he's not able to join us, but I got his lineup here. He's going full conspiracy. Patrick Mahomes as the captain. He's fully bought into the Chiefs conspiracy. Saquon Barkley is a flex. Hollywood Brown, Dallas Goddard, Jalen Hurts, and then old sneaky P Ryan, 1,200 as his last flex player. So he's high end on that Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. He's hoping for a good rushing game from those two guys, and hoping Hollywood Brown gets loose for a deep touchdown. But I like my team a lot. So this is what I got. I got Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goddard, Noah Gray, Pat Mahomes, Devontae Smith, Xavier Worthy. That's my team. I like that a lot. all starters besides, I guess, technically Noah Gray. He starts alongside Kelsey, but I've got wide receiver 1 for the Chiefs. I've got both quarterbacks, the wide receiver 2 and Smitty, and tight end 1 with the Eagles. I like my team in line. That's what I'm rolling with. It's my most confident team.
Man, I tell you, that Noah Gray pick is if that's not synonymous with what you've done the whole year, how you plays. That's the guy, man. I mean, he does have those games where it's like, who's that just caught that touchdown? That's not Travis Kelsey.
It's
No
Noah Gray.
Gray.
It's
No
Noah Gray.
Gray.
Yeah, I could, I could always change it up a little bit. I'm gonna put this lineup in real quick, see what I can maybe change it out for. No, I can only get Noah Gray. I could leave a lot of salary on the board to get Juju, but I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to go Noah Gray.
Why don't you pick Carson Steele, man?
Pass. No, pass. No thanks. Well, you got anything else before we adjourn and post it to the tube?
Well, who you got, man? Big prediction on the big game.
I'm going Eagles. I know that the NFL's heard this narrative that the NFL's rigged for the Chiefs. The Chiefs have won back-to-back bowls. I don't think they'll lose any sleep if they don't give them this one. But it is Patrick Mahomes, and money is drawn from controversy. But the way that Eagles and Chiefs game ended 2 or 3 years ago with that holding at the end that set the Chiefs up for a game-winning field goal, I know that a lot of those Eagles players, that's still very fresh in their mind. They're going to be out for blood. So I really do think those Eagles players are going to be way more motivated to win this game than the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are a really good team. They have the best quarterback in the league, but I don't know, the Eagles on offense, they're a well-oiled machine with A.J. Brown, Hurts, and Saquon. So I think the Eagles have the better skill players, definitely on offense, and I think their defense is a little bit better too. So I'm going to lay my money with the Eagles. What do you got?
Yeah, man, I'm going Eagles all the way. I think that team is going to be overpowering the Chiefs tomorrow. I think you're going to see a lot of sassy walks from Patrick Mahomes as he's walking off the field, disappointed on third down every time.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Carter in the middle and all those other guys, Blankenship and DeJean behind him and all those guys. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, he's back there. I mean, those guys, Darius
Zach
Slay.
Bond, dude. Zach Bond's killing it.
Former Saint legend Zach Bond.
Yeah.
All those guys on defense, their defense is probably more
Slept
intimidating.
on. Yeah.
More intimidating than their offense in my eyes. I mean, they're just simply too good.
They don't talk about them because of how good their offense is with A.J. Brown, Saquon. They got a bona fide wide receiver 1 and the best running back in the league, and it's just a back-breaking team.
If you get the stop you need on offense, you gotta go back out there, and go against their defense.
Yeah,
and that's them leaning on that the whole game. I don't see the Chiefs being able to pull this one out. If they do, it just adds to the lore of Patrick Mahomes.
Right, yeah.
So, more power to them. Best of
luck. Eagles O-line is dominant, too. I mean, it's every single facet of the game, pretty much. They maybe besides maybe defensive line with Chris Jones and Karlaftis. I know Carter's really good, but the Eagles pretty much beat them in every other position and quarterback. So,
this would be the game the Eagles win when Jason Kelsey's not playing anymore.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just get a text, Schefter? Who'd you get that text from? Breaking news coming in.
Sarah's computer, man. I swear they got her connected to her Bluetooth. But all right. Well, nothing else. We'll get out of here. Looking forward to the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, we will not be seeing the guys on the channel for another 365 days after tomorrow. So I'm just kidding, not at 365 days, less than that. But you know what I mean. We'll see you guys till the next season starts. So we'll get out of here, buddy.
We're going to move on to better things, man, like baseball and basketball and those kind of things.
I'll do a channel on DraftKings MMA before I do NBA. I'll just say that right now.
We could do that. We've watched a lot of that growing up. We could analyze it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some surprise videos just to have fun. Sounds good to me. I'm down. All right. Well, you have a good time tonight, bud.
All right.
See you.